I know we did a lot with colored pencil last year, but not all of you were with us last year. So I wanted to do a really quick review of a couple different colored pencil techniques. I think some of the important things with colored pencil is make sure that you're mixing and layering your colored pencils. So as you start with, actually I'm going to work over here. As you start with one color, don't go pedal to the metal and push as hard as you possibly can. Think about light layering of your colors. I can go in then with my next color and lightly layer it on top. Try going different directions to kind of eliminate that mark making if that's not something that you're looking for in your work. Sometimes I'll even do like little circles, which we'll talk more about in a little bit here. And you're going to slowly build up your color. Now, as well as mixing and layering my colors here, I'm also doing what's called burnishing, and I'm increasing my pressure with each layer of color that I'm adding in order to get my color to be really, really solid and smooth. Colored pencils can achieve a finish almost like a paint if you build it up to a solid color. Here you can start to see that I'm getting rid, you can't see any of the white paper through that colored pencil at this point. And that's, you know, that's burnishing. So when you're achieving that really solid look. Now, the important thing is if you build up your color too quickly, if you just kind of go in and, you know, go really, really lots of pressure, really, really hard off the bat, your colored pencils have a lot of wax in them. So then you can't go in and layer anymore. It won't allow you to keep layering. So it's important to build up those layers very slowly. Another thing you can do is, I'm just gonna kind of come in here really quick and do just that. Use a lot of pressure to put in a nice, solid, burnished, flat layer. And then you gotta find something sharp, which of course I don't have ready right now. Find something sharp that you can go in and you can actually scrape away. See if I can scrape enough that you can actually see the surface here. An X-Acto knife, the edge of some scissors would probably work really well for something like this. And see if you can actually start to remove some of that pigment as well. This is also good to know if you mess up with colored pencils, that you can go in and actually remove that colored pencil in order to be able to go back in on top. Or if you get too, you know, kind of crazy in the beginning and put on too much and you can't layer, go in and scrape some off so that you can go back in and keep layering. Play around with that one. Not necessarily my favorite. When it comes to coming up with some different textures, you could think about using directional lines as well. Think about your mark making. What do you want? You know, do you want soft lines? Do you want kind of thicker, bold lines? How do you want these lines to interact with each other? This can be good for trying to illustrate things like draped fabrics, or anything that has sort of a linear quality to it. You can kind of play around with making some different textures this way as well. And you can keep kind of building up and layering and layering and layering, and you can wind up getting this to be burnished as well. Scumbling is like what I talked about earlier with lots of little circles. This can be a nice textural technique if you wanted to draw something that doesn't have a linear quality but maybe has kind of a softer quality to it. And scumbling can also help kind of blend the colored pencil together as well. You can also use this technique, you know, light layering in order to mix colors and then build that up to a burnished finish as well. Similar to directional lines is cross-hatching, where we can actually think about how we apply the colored pencil in a more directional way. So we can think about layering using hatching and mark making that goes different directions. And again, just like with the directional lines and the scumbling, you can keep layering and layering and layering and build up your color to be burnished and really, really solid. So just a little quick review on some different colored pencil techniques. Go ahead and feel free to practice any of those that you might want to play around with.